Hey guys, what's up? It's me, the Media Raptor, and I'm finally back with another review for you guys. Look, I'm sorry for being gone for so long, alright? I had a lot of things going on, and I just couldn't make time to film reviews. But just because I couldn't film reviews doesn't mean I didn't see movies. And the movies I did see ranged from, well, becoming my all-time favorite to well, that's what I'm here to talk about tonight. I'm here to talk about a 2016 action spy comedy. It's a comedy straight up, but I have no idea what else it wants to be. And that movie is Zoolander 2. So yeah, a little bit of background here. When I heard they were making Zoolander 2, I hadn't seen the first one, and I thought, oh cool, Zoolander 2. Wasn't that a movie that came out like some odd 13 years ago? So I didn't know what to think, because I hadn't seen the first Zoolander. I watched the first Zoolander, I loved it. It was really funny. The humor was spot on, the characters were great, the story was so dumb, but it kept going on and making you laugh and smile the whole way through. So after seeing the first one, I was questioning why was it taking them so long to make a second one. You'd think that with at least a film that was as funny the first time, and I haven't seen it since, it could easily be worse on second viewings. Some comedies are like that. It could very easily be that it's not rewatchable, it's just good for one viewing. But if it is good for one viewing, I at least got the one viewing out of it, so you know what, I don't care. So I went and I saw this in theaters. I saw this in theaters, I don't want to talk about the rest of it. And when it started, it was great. When this movie begins, it is the exact same as the first Zoolander. It is witty, it's funny, it's non-stop hilarious for about 20 minutes. Then the jokes all kind of stop. Every now and then you'll get a joke that makes you laugh out loud, but most of them just kind of make you smile, if anything at all. And the story, it's kind of hard to follow, and that sounds really weird coming from the fact that this is a Zoolander movie. Like, it's about male models. The first one was about a male model who had to kill the president of New Zealand, I think. Or Thailand or someplace like that. Like, you don't need a whole lot of time to think about this, but for some reason they thought it would be a good idea to go and, well, overcomplicate the entire thing. Giving us new characters, more attempted depth, even though we didn't need depth, okay? They were male models and they were stupid. That's all we needed. Recurring villains and sort of character arcs about characters in jail. Let me put it this way. Zoolander 2 was trying to give us a ton of stuff which, A, didn't work, and B, we never needed because it's Zoolander. And that's the movie's big problem. It doesn't understand that it's such a simple formula for a movie. Because they give us so many plot threads, such as the whole trying to be a good father, trying to come back into society, getting your, they say, I think, groove back with being a male model, because it's been 15 years since either of them have been modeling. Like, there's all this stuff which they're throwing at us, and could easily make for a great movie. But the movie can't decide what it wants to focus on in a certain scene. Like, each scene, there's like 7 or 8 scenes in a row that really don't connect to each other, and only at the end do they try and tie everything together, but it does not really work. In fact, the way they try to tie it off is hilarious. I'll give it that. But how it comes out isn't that funny. It could have been absolutely hilarious, and the idea behind it was. I'm not going to spoil it, because that at least was worth seeing the movie for. But, and when the movie isn't constantly giving us all these characters who really, it's hard even just to get invested in, or, well, that kind of spoiled what I was about to say next. What I meant to say was, when it's not giving us plot threads we don't care about, it's giving us characters who are hard to get invested in. Why? Well, in the first movie, Derek and Hansel, or Hanzo, whatever you said, whatever is how you pronounced it, they were lovable idiots. That was the big thing about them. That's what made them so funny, is they were competitors at first, but then they realized they were just jealous of each other. And that's a really stupid plot twist, and it's funny, and it worked. In this one, Derek is just, he's still stupid, but he's not as much lovable. If anything, he's kind of a jerk. and some scenes with him just get kind of unpleasant, and of course it's a whole character thing, like, oh yeah, he's a jerk, but he changes in the end. Yeah, movies have done this a million times, and it's not really been that interesting before. And if you're not going to make it interesting, at least try and make it entertaining, which they fail with. You know, stuff like he has a son who he's trying to make more like him. Like, it could have been hilarious, and it should have been, because it's Zoolander. But it comes off as incredibly forced and unfunny. The stuff with Hansel, it just sort of seems like they threw it in there just because they needed to kill time. So really, the story could have been great, but it wasn't. The characters weren't that great, which is a step down, which is unbelievable to say because, again, there was barely any character in the first Zoolander, but it worked at least. Acting. Most of the actors try and succeed. I don't really remember much to anything from the acting, and that's kind of a good thing. It means that, sure, there wasn't anybody who was like, this was great, but it also means there was no one who was like, this was terrible, aside from Derek Zoolander's son. I really hope that kid never acts again. He is... I can't believe I'm about to say this. He gives Christian Haydenson a run for his money for worst child actor. I just said that. Anyhow, with other stuff like just the practical effects such as makeup, costumes, little bits of blood, the CG stuff that's in there is done really well, and a lot of the transitions actually in between scenes are pretty fun to look at. The soundtrack's great, the music is actually a great soundtrack. Well, I just said that. The soundtrack is great, camera work's really, really good, and overall, can I recommend Zoolander 2? Well, kind of. If you really liked the first one, give the second one at least one watch. There's at least enough to get you through through one viewing. They kill Justin Bieber, and that should be at least enough to get anybody through the movie. As for more than one view, I don't think I'm ever going to watch this thing again. I don't think I'm going to buy it. I don't think really I'm ever going to want to watch it again, because it wasn't that good. Pretty much Zoolander 2, I give Zoolander 2 Raptor claws out of 4. Which is sad, because the first one haven't reviewed it yet, but when I watched it, I gave it an instant 3.5. Probably gonna knock it down to a 3, just because, like, I'll have to rewatch it and stuff like that before I review it. But, anyhow, Zoolander 2 gets 2 out of 4, and that's me being pretty generous. I could easily kick that down to 1.5, or even just 1 Raptor claw. Very easily. But it still did have some moments that were funny and kind of make the film worth watching. So you know what, guys? Go check it out. Maybe you'll have more fun watching it than I did. But then again, it doesn't take much to entertain me, because I kind of like The Hangover Part 2. I didn't love it, and I really am never going to watch it again, but I at least laughed the first time, and that's something. But anyhow, guys, until next time, this is your old pal, the Meteor Raptor, saying keep cool, and I will see you dudes around. Later.